All right, today I want to talk about a couple of new margin and padding properties that have been added over the last 2 years. We've got wide support on desktop browsers for margin-inline and padding-inline. And there's a couple of variations on that. There's this margin-inline-end and start, and padding-inline-start and end, margin-block-end, margin-block start, padding, block, start, padding, block, end. So there's a whole bunch of these variations of it. The ones that have start and end written at the end of them have full support everywhere. The ones without the start and end, so padding and margin, inline and block, those ones are great for desktop, but not on mobile. So let's take a look and see exactly what these things are. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the regular padding and margin. You provide the keyword margin, and then you can provide 1, 2, 3, or 4 numbers. And depending on how many numbers you're providing, you're going to be setting padding and margin on the top, bottom, left, and right. And the order that you write the numbers sort of goes clockwise around the element. That's fine. There's nothing really per se wrong with doing that. The problem comes with other languages and the fact that you can't write CSS with margin and padding written in that way that works across all languages. So if you're building a multilingual website and it's going to have some text that's running left to right and other text that's running right to left or top to bottom. So you're doing Farsi or Arabic or Japanese or Chinese. Depending on the orientation of the characters and the way they're written, when you say that you want to have padding on the right, really, as an English speaker, what you're saying is, I need to have padding at the end of my text. Or if I say padding left, I want padding at the start of where I'm writing. And that's where these start and end keywords come in. The inline and block, the differences between those are inline is in the direction that the text is being written. So left to right, that's my inline direction. So inline start is where my text starts. Inline end is where my text ends. Block is in the direction of the flow of the page. So as my paragraphs stack, that's sort of the blocking direction. So in English, it's down the page like this. So start is at the top, end is at the bottom. But of course, if you change the orientation that the text is being written, you're going to change the way that these things are being applied. So jumping into the code that I've got for this little page, I've got 4 sections. I gave them each a class name. There's an H2 and a couple of paragraphs inside of each. The content is not important here other than to say I've got something that I can style. Now, if you ever do need to change the direction for whatever reason, we do have these properties right here. So I can change the bidirectional Unicode value and say that I want to go right to left or top to bottom, left to right. So you can play around with that value. And you can see now my text is shifted over. The punctuation on each line gets moved. If I look at the second paragraph here in the first section, you can see this is the last part that's written, and then it's followed by an exclamation mark. That exclamation mark on the final line is over here. So it's moving punctuation. It's aligned everything over to that other side. But because I haven't written it in a way that's read in that direction, it kind of does some odd things. If I was writing in Arabic, this would be working just fine. So we need to test out these new values. And let's jump in. We'll take our padding inline. We'll do that. My defaults, I removed all the padding and margin from my headings and my paragraphs inside of each of these sections, just by default. So we'll do our padding inline. And we're writing this as the property name instead of just the word padding. And then we provide a value. So inline, that is the direction that my text is flowing, left to right. And if I provide one value, let's say 3 REM, then what we're getting is 3 REMs padding here and 3 REMs over here. Simple enough. If we say that I only want the start, and let's bump it up to 6 REMs. So wherever my text is starting, that's where I'm pushing in by the 6 REMs. Change it to end, it's going to be the opposite side. So we're going to have over here the 6 REMs shifted in. Now we can change our text direction and see the effect of that. There we go. It's this side now because this is where the text is ending. So I hope you see where this is all going. We've got inline, we've got block, we've got start, we've got end. So let's do the padding block. And on this one, padding block. And I'll say 1 REM. And there, so we've got padding on the top and bottom of each one of our paragraphs. So I've got a 1 REM, 1 REM, 1 REM, and 1 REM on the top and bottom. If it was just padding block start, there you can see it's at the top, but not at the bottom of either of the paragraphs. Margin, same idea, working with those same values. So I can say margin inline. On those paragraphs, I am going to use my margin inline, and that's the direction the text is going. So the left and right sides for us writing in English, and we'll put in 2 REM. There we go, and it's shifted in on both sides. If it was just margin inline start or end, you can see it's only the one side that happens. Margin block, same idea. You can say margin block end. There we go. So after each paragraph. So this is the 3 REMs after this first one, and then there's a 3 REM space right here after the second one. And there, that's really all there is to it. So remember that the margin block, margin inline, padding block, padding inline, just those values, the ones that affect both sides, the top and bottom, or the left and right, the vertical and the horizontal. Those ones are supported great on desktop, but not on mobile. So if you are dealing with something that has to load on mobile, which, let's face it, that's practically everything nowadays, then you really do need to add the start and end values to specify which side you're talking about. We can still use the old values for padding and margin. So those 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, that still works. So if you're dealing with, okay, I want to have the exact same spacing on the top and the bottom, or the left and the right, well, you can just provide the 2 numbers then. So padding and then 2 numbers. The first number is going to be your top bottom. The second one's going to be your left right. So whether the text is written left to right or right to left isn't going to make a difference because it's the same amount of padding or the same amount of margin on both sides. All right, so hope you found that helpful. And as always, thanks for watching.